I never want my audience to get anything specific out of it. I like to ask questions and leave it with questions rather than answers. I want them to come and I want them to see humanity on the stage, and I want them to maybe understand it, maybe understand people who they never understood before. And then I want them to leave and to go across the street and have a glass of wine and discuss it and talk about it in the car on the way home, or, discuss it over a glass of wine. If I can start conversation, if I can start acceptance, maybe we can change for the better. Theater has the power to change you for the better, show you a different part of life that maybe you didn't know before, or maybe you didn't understand before. Hi, this is Wendy Graf, and I'm the playwright of Exit Wounds, which is opening August 25th at International City Theater in Long Beach. If you want to know about the play, stay tuned and listen more. Exit Wounds asks the question, how do you find redemption and move on in your life when you have a family member who committed a terrible crime? And it unfolds like a mystery. At the top of the play, we meet Linda Sadowski, who's in her 60s and is a hoarder. And the doorbell rings, and it turns out to be her second son, the older brother, who she hasn't seen in 25 years. He and the father left, and we find out why. And we find out why she's a hoarder, why she felt so guilty all these years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We find that out over the course of the play. And he comes to her, and he says that he has a 17-year-old son, Danny, and he's seeing so many qualities in Danny that he saw in his brother, and he's terrified. And he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know where else to turn. And so that's how the play goes into motion. Hidden underneath all of this is how awful gun violence is, and how we need to do something about it, and children's mental health. The main themes is, how does all members of this family, how do they move on? Have they moved on? No, they haven't moved on. Why haven't they been able to move on? What does not moving on look like? It's about moving on, finding redemption, finding hope. There's also a strain about seeing a family member through the lens of another family member, so you don't ever know. Like you may never know, you don't know your son, you only see him through the lens of your brother. And I think in a lot of families, and I drew on my own experiences from this, of seeing seeing one family member through the lens of another family member, and having them define who they are. Can a tragedy like this affect future generations? Can people ever live a normal life again after something like this happens? Especially now, where there's so much, social media and on television. I mean, it's like 24/7, and everybody's covering it and all that. And I also liken it to, there's a Japanese tradition about, if a plate or a vase breaks, they don't throw it away. They put it back together and they fill the cracks with gold. And there's also the theme of this family was broken, but it can be put back together, but you have to honor the cracks and deal with the cracks. And that's why they're gold. My director, Caryn Desai, is wonderful. I'm thrilled that she's directing it. I did a play down at International City Theater, which is the most wonderful place to work. In 2021, I did my play Closely Related Keys, and Caryn, I got to know Caryn then. She didn't direct it, but I got to know her as artistic director. And I mean, I just love her. She's just so wonderful. And so then my husband and I bought season tickets ever since then. And I've seen all the shows that are done, and she has an incredibly well curated season. But I've also watched very carefully the ones that she directed, especially this play Valley Song that she did last season, which kind of has the same, I don't know what you call it, the same this as Exit Wounds. And it was just so sensitively and beautifully directed. So when, she told me that she wanted to do Exit Wounds this season, I said, "Oh, Caryn, I'd love you to direct it." And she said, "We'll see." And then she told me, yes, she was going to be directing it. And she gets the play. We're just on the same page every step of the way. We're just on the same page, and she gets it. And I'm just thrilled to have it in her unbelievably capable and sensitive hands. The actors, Suanne Spoke. Suanne was in one of the workshop productions of Exit Wounds. There is not a better actress. She is 100%. She's professional. She's profound. There is not a false moment to her acting. She is, she's a real person on the stage. And, you asked me about, why is it collaborative? I mean, she's filled this character so much and elevated this character so much from my words on the page. I mean, I just love her in this, and she's just wonderful in it. The two other actors, Michael and Hayden, I both gave just kick-ass auditions, standout auditions, and they're really great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to their performances. I never want my audience to get anything specific out of it. I like to ask questions and leave it with questions rather than answers. I want them to come and I want them to see humanity on the stage, and I want them to maybe understand it, maybe understand people who they never understood before. And then I want them to leave and to go across the street and have a glass of wine and discuss it and talk about it in the car on the way home, or, discuss it over a glass of wine. If I can start conversation, if I can start acceptance, maybe we can change for the better. Theater has the power to change you for the better, show you a different part of life that maybe you didn't know before, or maybe you didn't understand before. Well, every single day there's a mass shooting, and every single day we hear about more and more problems with teenage mental health, and we need to stop this. We need to stop all of this. Now, this is insanity. And it's not, Exit Wounds isn't it's sadly as timely as it was when I wrote it in 2016. And I think the more we see all sides of it and the more we discuss it and the more we open it up, then hopefully someday we can have some change. I think it's really, I think it's a really good play. I'm really proud of it. And I think it's going to be so filled and elevated with the actors and the director. And this is the first play that my grandchildren have ever come to. And they're coming opening night. And I'm really excited about it. And I have a 15-year-old grandson. And, I told him this is a story about a 17-year-old boy. And I think they're, I'm excited for them to see it. I think it's very timely. And like I said, well, it comes, we hear about the families of the victims all the time. We never hear anything about the families of the perpetrators. And we're all victims. We are all victims of this. And that's why this is important and why I think it needs to be seen. Hi, I'm Wendy Graf, playwright of Exit Wounds, which is opening August 25th at International City Theater in Long Beach. It's a wonderful production. It's powerful, it's moving, and I hope to see all of you there. See you at the theater.